Monica Bird not too happy about that.
Look at the bench reaction.
The face, jaw dropped.
Hello guys, welcome back to TFD with another banger, and this one right here is wild. It looks like ESPN just came out and dropped the shocking truth as to why Sandy Brondello was let go by the New York Liberty. Guys, for this one here, we gotta take it all the way up to New York. Let's get it. Let's go. Now, this is the hottest story circulating in the sports world today. It's one of those breaking stories that nobody saw coming. And while I can't promise this one will still be buzzing tomorrow, just like I always tell y'all, I'll be tracking it closely and giving you updates as more details come out. So here's what we know. Alexa Philippou from ESPN tweeted out earlier today that Sandy Brondello had officially been let go by the New York Liberty. The Liberty front office then released an article confirming the move, and that's when everything started to snowball. But here's the part that's got everybody scratching their heads. Alexa actually sat down with ESPN to break down exactly why this decision was made, and let me tell you, it's crazier than most people thought. According to Alexa, the Liberty had already been considering moving on from Sandy last season. That's right, she was supposedly on the hot seat before the team even won the WNBA championship. And if y'all remember, I told you in one of my previous videos that there might be some tension brewing between Sandy and the Liberty front office. That's the only way any of this makes sense. Because think about it, how do you fire a coach that not only took you to the finals 2 straight years but actually brought home a championship? Sandy Brondello has won more games than any other coach in franchise history. The Liberty's playoff losses under her weren't even her fault. They were tied to injuries and roster depth issues. Yet somehow, despite all of that, she's gone. That's where the story starts to take a dramatic turn. Now, here's where the speculation kicks in. A lot of people believe this move could trigger a domino effect with the players. Sabrina Ionescu might be questioning the direction of the team. And don't forget about Breanna Stewart. People seem to have forgotten that Stewie signed just a 1-year deal with the Liberty. Same with Kelsey Mitchell and a couple of other big names. These stars structured those short contracts because of the ongoing CBA negotiations. And now with Sandy out of the picture, this gives Breanna Stewart the perfect opening to bounce if she wants to. That's the big risk New York is playing with here. They didn't just fire a coach, they may have opened the door for their championship core to walk out. So now the question becomes, did the Liberty front office make a power move they'll regret? Or do they already have a master plan lined up for the future? Either way, this story is far from over, and I'll keep tracking it for y'all. Now let's roll the ESPN clip of Alexa breaking it all down.
For a lot of folks this morning, a year removed from winning the title, what exactly led to the parting of ways between the Liberty and Sandy Brondello here?
Well, Malika, I know you guys talk about this a lot in the NBA and in other sports, but it was really championship or bust for New York and for Sandy Brondello. And in fact, if they hadn't won the championship last year, we might have been having this conversation a year ago, which is maybe a little startling to fans outside given how, excuse me for those noises, for how impactful she'd been for that franchise. But that is how bullish this organization is in New York and how their ownership and management really are looking to just continue upon that success that they were able to get last year. We know that Breanna Stewart said the other day when they lost in Game 3 that they had Sandy's back. We actually just talked with Becky Hammond here at Aces Shoot-Around. She said she did not love this move for Sandy and really just spoke to the fact that she is such a quality person and quality coach, and that is such a rare mix for a head coach in all really sports to have. And so I think for New York moving forward, I would expect them to really, again, be bullish in who they go after. We know that they are a WNBA franchise that invests a lot in a lot of resources, a lot of financial, capital into these decisions. So I think it wouldn't be shocking though if they decide to go after maybe someone in the NBA, someone that we might be a little bit more of a non-traditional hire. I do think Sandy Brondello has a great shot of getting hired again. We know what she has done in this league. We know that there's openings in Seattle, for example, in addition to the 2 expansion franchise that are still yet to hire their coaches. So definitely some things to look in developing, weeks and whatnot. But it is the end of an era for sure for Brondello and New York.
Yeah, the Liberty said that the search for their next head coach, it is getting underway immediately.
Man, a little startling is even saying the word championship, like it don't even mean nothing, bro. How is that even remotely right when she's literally the winningest coach in your franchise history? Franchise history, Duke. My goodness. That's insane. And here's the kicker. Now a lot of people been speculating that somebody from the NBA could actually be headed to New York. That's been the word on the street. I've even heard whispers that Sandy Brondello's replacement might already be within the organization. Like, they may already have that coach waiting in the wings, bro. But let's just pause and think about this. At what point do you look around at that locker room and realize, damn, nobody's gonna rock with me? Because that's the reality for whoever steps into this job. Could you even imagine being the coach that now has to walk into this New York Liberty team, a team that just won a championship under Sandy, and try to get players to buy in? Bro, no one's going to rock with you at all. That means you're walking into a situation where you already lost before you even get there. Like, you haven't coached a single practice, haven't drawn up a single play, and already the players looking sideways at you. That is wild, man. It's just so crazy to me that they fired this lady for losing in the playoffs when it wasn't even her fault. I mean, let's be real. Injuries, roster situations, those are things outside a coach's control. And yet she still had this team in back-to-back finals and brought home a championship. How do you turn around and say, yeah, we're moving on? I just cannot get over that, bro. I'm sorry. For the life of me, I will not understand how you get fired for losing in the playoffs when it wasn't even your fault. I could see it if she had put together a bad scheme, ran a terrible rotation, or just flat out got outcoached. But that wasn't the case here at all. Sandy Brondello gave this team everything, and to me, this looks more like a front office power play than a basketball decision. Because no coach in their right mind should get fired after delivering the most success your franchise has ever seen. This is one of those moments where I think the Liberty may have made a move that comes back to bite them. And honestly, bro, I don't even think it'll take long. Man, just look at the resume. Let's run it down real quick. In 2022, Sandy Brondello and the Liberty, 16-20, bounced out in the first round. Next year, 2023, she turns it around, 32-8, takes the team all the way to the finals. Then 2024, another 32-8 season, and this time she wins the whole thing. Then you go back, 2020 with Phoenix, 27-17, yeah, lost in the first round, but still, that's a winning record. Like, come on bro. Come on bro. Where else do you see this happening? You telling me this resume doesn't speak for itself? Man, this is very bad. Whoever gets her in, I wish and I pray. Oh, I pray the Indiana Fever figure out a way to get Sandy, bro. Oh my god. Can you even imagine? Y'all got to somehow, some way remotely make this happen. Remotely come up with a plan, an idea, something to bring her in. Because if this don't happen, my goodness. My freaking goodness. That would be a generational miss, man. Let's see what other WNBA coaches' reaction. Look at this. More on Becky Hammon not being a fan of Sandy Brondello being fired by the New York Liberty. Cheryl Reeve in Minnesota should be the model. When you have a good coach, you keep the good coach. And that doesn't mean you win every year.
Did anybody find out how many years Cheryl's been in Minnesota? Because I think that should be 2010. That should kind of be the model. If you know you have a good coach, you keep a good coach. And it doesn't mean you win every year, you know. There can be rough years in between, but you continue to stay competitive and you invest in what you have, you invest in your leadership. Every time an organization, and it happens all the time in professional sports, but it's really hard to rip up a foundation and just start over and over, you know, every year or every 2 years. I mean, you look at, you know, poor Devin Booker, how many head coaches did that guy had? You know, it's just hard to reboot every year. Now, I know it seems like the coaches is the easiest thing to remove, but if you got a good coach, you keep it, him or her.
Cheryl Reeve on the Sandy Brondello being let go in New York.
You know, I think we said it this time last year, actually, you know, the stakes, you know, as we've seen the business grow, the stakes grow higher. And I think that, my biggest thoughts on it is that I think, you know, I've said this before. I think Sandy's a heck of a coach, and Sandy will land on her feet like she always does. And I am absolutely thrilled if I'm Seattle, Toronto, and Portland that I was just gifted a championship level coach. And we're obviously, though we're competitors, I think a lot of Sandy personally and professionally.
Coach Stephanie White on the firing of Liberty HC Sandy Brondello and the turnover rate in the WNBA.
You saw the news out of New York this morning?
Yes.
What was your immediate reaction to that?
Just, disappointed obviously for Sandy. She's a great coach, great human being. And of course, in our profession, you hate to see that.
I guess what do you make of just the pace of turnover that you've seen in the W over the last few years?
I don't know. I mean, those are jobs above my pay grade, so I don't really know what to make of it.
What'd you try to get accomplished yesterday?
At the end of the day, y'all, this right here just changed everything. ESPN pretty much exposed that Sandy Brondello was never fully secure in New York. It was championship or bust from the jump. And even though she delivered more wins than anybody in Liberty history, it still wasn't enough to save her job. That's wild, man. Now the Liberty are gambling big time, because if players like Stewie or even Sabrina decide to bounce, this move could backfire in ways they don't even see coming. Meanwhile, Sandy's legacy speaks for itself. She's going to land on her feet, no question about it, and any team or expansion franchise that picks her up is instantly going to get a proven winner and leader. But I want to hear from y'all down in the comments. Do you think New York made the right move, or did they just make one of the biggest mistakes in franchise history? Drop your thoughts, keep them bells on, and stay tuned because this story is far from over.